Four are huh? कौन कहलो?
Sir, 4 students are there, sir.
Only four.
Yes, sir.
We will continue in Finnish also.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So everybody is enjoying Christmas.
No, sir.
Okay, so we will be finishing this paper, and we have these four chapters. That is application of ICT in railways, right? How this model is successful and what are the various apps and others that have been in use in railway system, railway information system, which is centrally otherwise is known as uh, Center for Railway Information System, CRIS. Then we have use of ICT in the local governance of Vijayanagaram district municipality or municipal corporation, Visakhapatnam municipal corporation. Then another use of ICT, particularly led by women in the case of West Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh. So these two models have been examined in this paper of e-governance, and these are considered to be good models, role models. That's why they are there in details. And then we will study RTA Act, right? What is RTA Act? What are the institutions under RTA Act? What is the history of RTA Act? And what are the challenges before RTA Act today? And in the final chapter 15, we have e-governance by the government and what are the challenges. That in general, I have already discussed various aspects in different chapters, which is in final chapter, that is 15. So let us discuss about ICT in railways. So as you know, railways is the second largest system of transport, railway transport in the world. And you have huge numbers of trains, stations. So in that book that you have with your e-copy, that is an old data, not updated. So right now we have 7,349 stations in India, railway stations in India, and more than 20,000 passenger trains and more than 40,000 passenger coaches and so on. And there are 2,22,000 freight cars, that is goods train. And then you have per day 1.5 crores of people, 15 million people are traveling from covering to more than 48 hours from east to west and south to north. Somebody starts from Delhi or Guwahati to Kanyakumari. Then there are direct trains, interconnected trains, you can change the station. So question is how so many people are traveling smoothly and how the reservation is being done now in internet. That's an astonishment to all over the world. And astonishingly, you will know the people otherwise known as intellectually poor or there is a general perception among the middle class Indians that Lalu Yadav is something rustic or does not know very good advancements in science technology, particularly in IT sector. But you will see during Lalu Yadav's period as railway minister, railways made a huge profit, and that it becomes a successful public sector. So railway itself is a kind of country with its own mechanism. So in the 60s, there started the process of computerization in railways. And earlier there was a lot of apprehension, resistances, doubts, question marks whether this will be successful or not. And there are various reasons for that. So these IBM old model computers are introduced. Then there are three stages of computations, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Then reservation system for ticketing. That is when you buy a ticket to go to a particular station. Suppose you start from Bhubaneswar to Kolkata or Chennai or Mumbai, then you have to reserve a ticket. Earlier, you are going to railway station, having a long queue, you are getting a ticket, then there is problem in cancellation, then again a long queue, there is a problem in getting return fund, and so many things. So earlier stages, there was a system of reservation in railway ticketing or railway reservation ticket. There are two kinds of tickets: unreserved and reserved. Reserved are for second class, first class, AC, first class AC, second class AC, and there are various categories of tickets. Then there is a unreserved ticket system, the bogies which are not reserved, right? So for this reservation to have a access of passengers, easier access of passengers and easier ticketing system without any difficulties, this system was introduced. And there are so many problems in the first, second, third pages. Then five centers, five major towns in India were connected with five separate models of reservation ticketing system. But again, they were integrated in a single fold. It was started in this 1985 or 86. Then 86, what happened? There was CRIS, Center for Railway Information System. That means the entire computerization process was given to a separate agency and under railway, that is under railway ministry, railway department. But the job of computerization or use of ICT, information and communication technology, in various services of railway were introduced under the aegis of, under the leadership of this particular organization created under the Department of Railways. That is known as CRIS, right? Center for Railway Information System. So this was created to avoid duplication of computerization work by various departments and to have a look at the totality in a holistic manner in the entire railway system. So they divided into different categories. This reservation ticket, freight management, that is goods train, freight management, then the on-reserved ticket, and so many issues. So let us come to the first, that is PRS, Passenger Reservation System. It started in 1985. As I have already told you, that is version 1, version 2, and version 3, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Then five PRS were created in different centers of India, important centers of India. Then they were integrated into a single whole in 1999 with HP's Alpha server. In the HP, that is a laptop, you know, HP company, it has its Alpha server that was used in passenger reservation system of tickets. And there are so many versions. So this is one. So now what you find in the railway, you just in your mobile phone download the app, ICRTC, then you reserve the ticket, then you cancel the ticket, you get the refund of money. So many, it is easier and hassle-free that there are no more dalals in the system. It is easier for a common man or women or boys or girls, wherever they're traveling, just suppose a train is cancelled. Suppose you are on the way, then you can cancel immediately and have a new train or new route there immediately. So this facility, this has facilitated the complete use of information and communication technology, the reservation system, and this is one of the most successful stories of ICT induced governance in the railways, not only in the railways in India but also in the entire world. Then we have this national train inquiry or inquiring system, which is otherwise known as inquiring system. This was introduced in August 1998, right? So you can inquire about the. Hello. So there is no repetition of sound today, I think. Is there any repetition of sound today? Like
No,
yesterday?
No, sir.
no, sir.
That's good. So now, what is happening in this national train inquiry system? This is another app and another part of the this national train inquiry system, or otherwise known as inquiring trains through internet. So while you are traveling or while you are sitting, you can know. Suppose you are waiting for the arrival of your relative in Bhubaneswar railway station. What you will do? You need not ask inquiry over phone, railway inquiry over phone. That is always engaged. You cannot get answer. Rarely you get answer. nor you ask your relative who is coming from Delhi. Suppose he or she is coming from Delhi in Rajdhani Express to arrive in Bhubaneswar. You need not go to Bhubaneswar railway station 1 hour before and get confused. You just search the movement of Rajdhani Express from Delhi to Bhubaneswar. There are so many Rajdhani Expresses. So one is Bhubaneswar, from Delhi to Bhubaneswar and vice versa. You search that. You can see through in your mobile, in internet, exactly where the train is moving and what is the right arrival time, whether it is late or whether it is fast. So every information you will get there. So by that you will go and receive your friend or relative. So by that you time save your time. So likewise, while you are traveling in the train, you it's as a passenger you can know inside the train in what exact position train is there, how much time it will take to arrive in the destination, arrive at the destination, and how much time it has been late or what are the problems and so on. So this continued and now it is a successful story. You can know the arrival and departure of the trains, journey, plan, berth, rules, facilities, and so on. So many things. Even cancellation rules, refund rules, reservation rules. How many of you can get reserved? Hmm. So, so somebody is asking. I don't know what question is asking. Anyway, so please look into the question. Somebody is asking. He wants to join or something like that. You please. Acha, is there any political science class, only public administration class or MPA class or MP, SB, MP, political science is there? Do you know?
Sir, we have an class from sociology MS O to 0 to code. I
Acha,
am asking to RC sir, RC Bhubaneswar sir is joining the class. That is there any counseling class for that subject or not?
acha.
That methodology, sir, that is
Okay.
methodology, that is sociology, social science, sociology, sir, chapter we have in.
Hmm.
That is research methodology and methods. We have
Yes, I know.
another subject.
Yes.
So I asked RC sir, RC
So
Bhubaneswar sir, is there any online classes for that subject or not?
what did he say?
But I do not get any reply from them.
Then one of my other student is asking from political science whether classes are being held political science. I said that I can.
Political science, there is also, we have another subject that MPS 3, that is
Has already
democratic
been
and
given.
Huh?
democracy and development.
Hmm.
Sir,
Indian
the
democracy
syllabus
and
are
development.
already been given in the group, sir, in a
But
PDF form.
when the class will be taken in political science?
So I think from 20, it was written in that both the 20 ki 23 ru arambo hochi, sir.
Acha, okay. Okay, thank you. So, how the information is updated? Suppose you left Delhi by 5 p.m. So, after 4 hours, how can you know that this train is on way and it has covered, it has reached Kanpur? Because you must know this. This is very interesting. In every half an hour, the movement of the train is updated from 60 centers. It was 60 in 2015 or 16. So now it must be it must be increased to other higher number of centers. I don't have the exact data. How many national centers are there where the movement of the trains, all the trains that are moving, is updated by every half an hour. प्रति आधा घंटा थोड़ा सा update होती. So next is first I explained passenger reservation system, how these are reserved and what are the benefits. Then I explained passenger railway inquiry system. This is regarding all the benefits I told you. Then there is a alpha. This is called alpha migration. So this is in brief known as CONCERT, CONCERT, countrywide network for enhanced reservation and ticketing. You can write it down. CONCERT, CONCERT, countrywide network for enhanced reservation and ticketing. So this is meant to have a preparation for skeleton chart of a train in advance before 3 days. So before 3 days of departure, by this app or this model or this model of software, the train prepares the chart of passengers ahead 3 days, before 3 days of departure of the train. So the rough skeleton sketch is prepared. So there will be no problem at the actual date of journey. This is the model, that is alpha migration. Then internet inquiry. So the public can inquire over internet what are the fares, what is the journey planning, what is the fare inquiries, what is the PNR status. You know PNR status, your ticket, every railway ticket has a PNR number, and by putting PNR number in the internet, in a search in IRCTC, you can know the status of your ticket or reservation, whether that is confirmed, whether that is waiting, whether you are not going to get that, etc. Then accommodation availability, how many seats are or berths are vacant in a particular train, under which classes, second class reservation, first class reservation, 3-tier AC, 2-tier AC, first class AC, and so on. So till now, what you are doing, what we are doing before the introduction of this app, what we were doing earlier, we have a long queue in inquiry. Now also you will find long queues in inquiry. Nobody searches mobile because the mentality, the mindset, we don't know. Many people do not know how to use, particularly old age people or these people from remote areas. They normally do not use. Young generation uses it very fast and in a 100% manner, right? So this is the information that we get regarding the position of the trains, position of the ticket or berth, etc. Then booking of tickets on internet. How you book trains on the internet, all of you know. I need not explain that because you search in ICRTC, www.irctc. So you search there, go to booking, you find the train from to date, then you find the availability of seats in different categories. Then you put your Aadhaar number, or if you have that app particularly, then you can book a ticket, right? And then you have on-reserved ticket system. Earlier it was not there, later it was introduced. And from on-reserved buggies or berths, you can have ticket. Then it will be stopped. Suppose there is a overcrowding of a buggy, then the ticket sale will be stopped. That is a good thing they have done recently. Then this freight movement, goods movement. There are lakhs of goods trains running. So this software has managed them, has streamlined them, or have noted or computerized or stored the number, data, how many goods will be, whether it is coal, cement, whatever it be, what the railway is taking. So there is a information in the centralized computerized system that these numbers of trains are running from that place to this place or this place to that place with these amounts of particular amounts of goods, whatever it is being transported. So there is a advantage of lessening or lowering the level of corruption, level of wastage of time, etc., etc. That's a good advantage, and railway is actually getting benefits financially from this computerized system of freight movement, right? Then you have these problems of cyber security in railway system. If some bug is entering or some crime is being done, they have to be foolproof because this is highly confidential and highly secured. There will be a very serious problem. That's why you will see railway have its own telephones, own networks. So it does not depend or does not have any connection with outside their own system. That is highly secured and highly confidential system. Normally, it's very difficult to have a cyber crime in railway matters. Highly secured also. The mechanism is very strong in railway system. So these are the general apps that we see or find in railway system in India. So overall, what we will see, in the beginning, in the 60s, there was resistance, there was doubt, there was apprehensions, not only among the common people in India, but also among the top officers, top bureaucracy of railways, employees of railways. Even Railway Employee Association was opposing computerization of the railways during the first initial years. Some people took the lead, decided, made a commitment, and there was political will, and it moved ahead. So out of this journey from 60s till 2020, that is 50, 60 years. We have seen the success of a story, of a paradigm of ICT application in governance. There are so many advantages. Of course, there are disadvantages, but we have almost overcome them, and we are experiencing or experimenting new ideas, new concepts in the application of ICT tools in the railways governance. So you cannot think of going back right now, because it has been so helpful to the common passengers, particularly in inquiry system and reservation system. That is beneficial to the common passengers, highly beneficial. Then that is also saves time, money, energy of railway department. But for the railway department, this flight management in a computerized system or in an ICT system is more beneficial to the railway department for this profit, for their profit. Then you have this benefit of railways when automatic upgradation. Suppose you booked a ticket in class 2, general reservation. But there is a vacancy in 3-tier AC. So if there is a vacancy, the logic of railway or commercial purpose is that you are automatically upgraded to 3-tier AC without giving any extra payment. So you can ask, what is the profit of railway? I get a 3-tier AC seat on payment of a general 2-tier reservation system. But what railway got benefit is that its 3-tier AC is filled, and again another 2-tier second class reservation seat it got freely. Otherwise, it would have been remain lying vacant. So another passenger could be confirmed. So when it confirmed, it paid. So you paid and he paid. So doubly, railway got a profit. So this is how railways has crossed a long journey of 5 decades, and in this journey, it has improved upon itself. The entire system of reservation, whatever it may be in railways, with the use of ICT, is one of the most advanced, secured, pleasant, hassle-free system recognized all over the world. This is the success story of ICT. So next, we'll go to this another chapter, next chapter, that is 12, I think. Saukaryam, that is application of ICT in Visakhapatnam municipality. So before going to the application of ICT in a municipal corporation or municipality or NAC, that is urban units of urban local governance, so we can ask, so what is the basic function of a municipal corporation? What are the challenges in urban areas for citizen-friendly governance system? Rural areas institutions like Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, Jilla Parishad, they have different problems, different challenges, different ways of governance. And here in urban areas, we have 3 types of urban units of governance, that is notified area council, municipalities, and municipal corporations. So Visakhapatnam is a growing city, big city, one of the major towns of Andhra Pradesh. So the biggest challenge for a big city or growing city is first you must have good roads, good sanitation system, good sewerage system, good transport system, good street lighting system, controlling of dogs, cows, and other animals roaming free on the streets. That's a traffic problem. Building plan approval. This occupation, illegal occupation of government land. All these are major problems in every city. When there is a rain, you will find there is a waterlogging throughout Cuttack and Bhubaneswar. You cannot imagine there is a serious flood-like situation in Bhubaneswar and also in Cuttack. So this controlling these mosquitoes is a bigger problem in Cuttack. And during Durga Puja, traffic is one of the biggest challenges in Cuttack. Nowhere you will find such a traffic jam or congestion, not only in India, in the world also, during Durga Puja, because of these certain or squeezed roads, or you can call it as gullies, what we call it. So how ICT can help it? How use of information and communication technology can solve these problems? So municipal offices, municipal corporations offices are otherwise symbolized as throughout India as centers of corruption, misbehaving to the common people, non-responsiveness, over-bureaucratization, filing of complaints growing up. Nobody is responding. These are the common perception among the Indian people, particularly urban living people, that they do not get justice from municipal corporations in their day-to-day engagements, day-to-day confrontation, day-to-day demands, day-to-day requests, and otherwise they pay heavy charges, taxes, land holding tax, building holding tax, and other taxes from the dwellers or residents of the urban area. That's why this is a model in Visakhapatnam, known as, this is, I don't know this South Indian accent of this Saukaryam, Saukaryam. People from Barampur can correctly pronounce that, right? So these problems of corruption or delay or bad response, bad regime can be corrected through the ICT. How? So problem is, how can we address? First, they tried to solve this problem by computerizing the database. How many people are living in a particular municipal area, whether it is Visakhapatnam or Bhubaneswar or Calcutta or Mumbai, whatever it may. So what they did in Visakhapatnam under this project of Saukaryam, they computerized the entire database. What do you mean by database? Information on citizens, how many buildings are there, legally approved buildings, how many illegal buildings are there, how many legally approved roads are there, how many illegal roads are there, how many illegal occupations are there, that is controlling the government land, capturing the government land or encroaching the government land. How many sewerage systems are there, whether they are safe or unsafe, whether they are clear or not clear. So these all data, physical data, are computerized. This is the first step. Second step, they went the multi-stakeholders approach. There are many stakeholders in a governance of municipal corporations or urban local bodies. There is the water authority, electric authority, road and transport authority, sewerage authority, so many authorities. So they have to be networked into a single group. So any problem has to be addressed in a collective manner. So they have a multi-staked approach or multi-stakeholders approach. Then they recognize the role of private players. The private players, that is PPP mode, what I was discussing yesterday, and someone is asking why PPP is mode, we will also be discussing here. Then the main objective of this municipal corporation or local governance body is a two-way approach. The primary objective of any municipal corporation is to give benefits to the citizens, is to give good governance to the citizen, is to give hassle-free, non-corrupted, that is honest, non-bureaucratic governance to the common people, accountable and transparent. So we need a citizen-centric approach for that. So under this program, e-program of Saukaryam, they designed for a citizen-friendly approach of governance through the use of ICT. Then web-enabled, there must be a website of this municipal corporation, that is Visakhapatnam. It must have its own website, when there will be all the data are there with a free access to the public. Public can access all the data in the website, and all the data of the municipal corporation should be there. Then the system should be developed by insiders. This is part of the program at the initial stage. What does it mean? Suppose how a university is run, how a university is managed, what are the features of university, what are the works of university. An outsider of university cannot know. If he is interested, outside company or agency or pharma, a firm is engaged for developing a system of a university, and he does not have that expertise or experience or knowledge about university, then it will go to a failure. So people from inside the university must be interested with the task of developing this system, computerized system, right? Then PPP mode. So throughout India, But throughout the world also, in all the capitalist countries, what you will find, there is always the question of a lack of money, funding, resources, when there is a new idea of governance, when people-centric governance, whether in PRIs or state governments or central governments, whether it is employment, food security, whether it is health, whether it is education, whether it is transport, whatever it may be. So you will find there is a research crunch of the on behalf of the states. States or governments do not have sufficient money to bring changes in the administration so that people can get the benefit in all these sectors. So what is the alternative? How money can be managed? So the idea of PPP mode, that is the invention of World Bank. So World Bank devised the notion that public-private partnership mode. So public means state. State will provide infrastructure, some money, and all the benefits that is existing land, etc., to a company who is interested to invest money on a particular project. So they opted for a PPP mode. So PPP, in a PPP mode, public is there, state is there, and private company is there. Both join hands together, and they carry on the work. Whether it is success or it is a success story or unsuccessful, that is another part. But they started this journey like that, and this program started with this program. Then what they designed? They made kiosks, Jana Seva Kendras, one-stop cyber, that is web-enabled kiosks or shops, where the citizen can go and do many jobs on internet, on computer. What are the jobs that it requires? Suppose a citizen has to apply for the approval of building plan. I want to start my building in the city of Visakhapatnam in a particular area. I have a land. So I hired the services of an architecture. I prepared a plan, but I cannot start the building. I have to start the building with the approval of the municipal corporation. So I applied. Earlier, what is there? I went to municipal corporation's office, applied there, deposited the money. It took 1 year, but nothing has happened. So to avoid this unnecessary delay and harassment to the citizens, these kiosks were website enabled and internet enabled. I downloaded a form or filled the form online. Then I submitted the form. Submitted also the documents by annexing. As annexures, I submitted the documents. What are the documents? The building plan. So that has to be approved. So I got a number, unique number, that is unique ID. So by tracking that number, after 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, 4 months, I can know the status of my application. So if it is still not moving, still with the office, it is not moved to the higher authorities, or there are no information whether it has been passed or rejected or what is the status of this, then I can appeal to the proper authority, approach the authority. Suppose I do not have street light in front of my home. So I can make a complaint in the kiosk, going to kiosk, that the street light is not working proper, there is darkness and there is a threat to our security in the colony. So there must be action by the corporation or electric authority. Then I want, this is the second type of job. Third is I want to pay my bill, payments. So I can go online. I need not go to the office, stand in a long queue. Senior citizens should not do that. They go to the kiosk. They can do now. They are more advanced and you can do it in electricity. In Odisha also you can pay electricity bills through online Bhubaneswar. That is a great advantage. You need not go to, particularly in Corona time, to the electric bill offices. So this is the third job that has been rendered in Suryakam program, Shukaryam program in Visakhapatnam. Then you have online filing of complaints and settlement, any kind of complaint. So they surveyed how this is being responded by the citizens. And it was found per day more than 200 citizens are going to attending and making use of services provided by these kiosks or by these e-shops. It is a shop e-offices or whatever, Jana Seva Kendras. In Odia you can call it Jana Seva Kendras. Or Praja Seva Kendra, that is in Andhra Pradesh, That is not in Visakhapatnam, that is in rural areas, Praja Seva Kendras. So these services are rendered to the common citizens, to the common people in urban areas through these kiosks, and this has brought a revolutionary change in the day-to-day life of people living in a city like Visakhapatnam. Then we have online citizens forum. You have feedback system. So, what is the response of the citizens living in Visakhapatnam on the e-governance project of this project in Visakhapatnam? Whether they are satisfied, whether they are highly satisfied, you have a questionnaire. Whether they are highly satisfied, whether they are generally satisfied, whether they are less satisfied, and whether they are dissatisfied. What are the suggestions? What is the problem? So these questions were put to the citizens, and citizens give a feedback. And out of the analysis of feedback, the authority, the administration in the municipal corporation of Visakhapatnam found that this project is well received, well appreciated by the common citizens in terms of the numbers. But this is not a all pleasant going. This is not a 100% success story. There are so many challenges. What are the challenges? First is in the beginning there was resistance. Like every e-program in the world, in India, there is a resistance. Resistance by two factors. First, we don't have a mentality to go think out of box or go for immediate change. This is the normal, you can call it as Indian psychology or whatever it is. Second is there are vested interests, corrupt elements who are getting benefit from non-computerized system. You are going, approaching the clerk, the officer, sir, please do this, sir, please do this. I need a birth certificate immediately for the admission of my children in a school or college, in school. So what should I do? No, I don't have time. I cannot do that. I need it urgently. So I have to pay money urgently. That is corruption. Sir, I need sewerage system to my new building, connected to my new building. You have to pay money for that. For every service in India, and the Transparency International is an NGO working in the globe regarding this corruption. So it puts India into a very higher stage so far corruption is concerned. And it is found that it in every services rendered by government agencies particularly, there is always an involvement of corruption, giving some money to people in charge. Then fund is a major problem. If you want to modernize the entire system or computerize the entire system, you need huge money. You need fast infrastructure, that is highly developed computers. Then you must have network. Then you must have website. Then you must have maintenance of website. Then you must have manpower, newly recruited manpower who are trained in this job of computerization or use of ICT. So for this you need fund, and you don't have fund, and for this you need a PPP mode. Then if there is a PPP mode, the cost of the services will be higher, which is not affordable by the common people, right? So this continues. Then there is a lack of public awareness. Normally, generally, public is not so much interested or so much enthusiastic when there is a change over ICT is concerned. Now the young generation is responding very well because they are acquainted with the ICT from the beginning, from school career, from college career, from university career. But the common people who are not so educated, they are not interested. So we need to create public awareness regarding the benefits of this ICT and its use in every sector, in rural sector, in urban sector, in service sector, and other sectors also, right? Then finally, the most important challenge for the success of these e-governance stories is the lack of political will or presence of political will. If there is the presence of political will, then there is no need of lackluster leadership or confused leadership whether this project will go on or not. If some leader or the elected body of that particular organization or a state government or a central government does not do that or does do that, in the next government may not carry this in that speed. So we need always a political will in a democratic system to carry any innovative idea, any innovative policy, or any innovative decision so far as ICT is concerned, or implementation or application of ICT in governance system is concerned. So these are the challenges, right? Then this is the story. So I have given you the in briefly. This program in Visakhapatnam municipality was initiated. These are the objectives, these are the services, these are the challenges. Right. So you got a very holistic idea about this project. Then there is another project, similar project. You need not go into details of that. It is understandable. E-Seva project that was implemented in next chapter, West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. And interestingly, this project was led by women. So it had two objectives. First thing, women are backward in terms of ICT. This myth has to be broken, or this reality has to be broken. Normally, women in rural areas, this is West Godavari district, that's a rural area. So in West Godavari district, this e-kiosk or e-seva initiated by the Andhra Pradesh government was led by self-help groups, by women. This is a new innovative because the e-seva project is running all over the country, in every state, in every district. But this is an innovative idea that self-help groups of women were leading this front. So to show to the society that women are not far behind. So for this new idea of e-governance is concerned. Then what is second objective? The positioning of women in the leadership category. So far e-governance is concerned, this project aims to bring women to the leadership position. So that the myth surrounding women that they are backward in information and communication technology is broken, and they will be inspired and they tap the human resources available with women. So there is portal kiosks on this is linked to district server. There is a district-wise server, and it is linked to the kiosks or e-seva kendras or jana seva kendras in every village. And same land record, birth and death certificate, schooling, education, all services were rendered around 2002. Then it developed and continued. Then this one important part of this project is linking this project to the school children. E-content was developed, general knowledge content was developed, educational items were developed, and they were given to the students of that district through these e-kiosks. So every month, the students go to attend e-kiosk or Jana Seva Kendras thrice, 3 times in a month. They attend the class and receive the material from these Jana Seva Kendras on online, not by hand, on online, on internet, on computer, right? So these are the services, and this is very important because almost 28-30,000 students connected, and their number grew to I don't know what is the latest position so far this education is concerned, but this is a success story because in remote areas where schools are not working properly or they are not getting good services in the schools, if they are connected to the Jana Seva Kendras through internet or computer, and students attend that, there is a facility developed in this because all the students cannot sit in that small room or small Jana Seva Kendra. There must be arrangement through big large screen computers or televisions. And if they receive them or if they get lessons from those computers in the Jana Seva Kendra, there will be great help to the people, and they can stand at par with the urban students, right? So this lacuna or deficiency can be filled up by these e-Seva Kendras. That is an innovative project in West Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh. Then telemedicine. Suppose there is a problem. These are the diseases that people ask. And one day, particularly if the day is fixed or time is fixed and people attend that, there will be telemedicine or expert opinion. Doctors will sit online and they will advise the patients, answer their queries and prescribe. And if necessary, they are advised to attend the specialists or a special medical or hospital or a specialist doctor. That this is your problem, you need further advice. You need further investigation. You need further treatment. And if it is a common or less serious, then on prescription you can get that. So this health gap, particularly this is helpful to women in rural areas. Suppose in rural areas you will find in our state there are so many hospitals without running without doctor and pharmacists. There are so many hospitals in rural areas and no hospital has a doctor. If there are a requirement of these PHC, public health centers, a requirement of 7, 8 doctors or 5 doctors, there will be only one, right? So there is a provision of 3 specialists, gynae specialist, medicine specialist, and orthopedic or other specialist. But you will have a general physician, only one. So to bridge this gap, to fill this deficiency, if there is telemedicine, then to some extent, at least to a large extent, this requirement, health requirement can be filled up. So this was initiated under E-Seva in West Godavari district. Then tele-agriculture. If agriculture farmers are connected to that and they have specific questions, then agriculture experts sitting in district or sitting in state, they can be contacted. Their advice can be taken. They can say why there is not the proper growth of these plants or these crops, etc. Right? Then this online mandi, you have auction online, and your products are simply sold out in online mandis. Then people can pay online. So the services of the government can be available to the people online through e-kiosk managed by women in West Godavari district. So this became a success story despite the challenges. Every program has a challenge, and if you have commitment, you have will, you have innovation, you have creativity and ability to think out of box, go out of box, then it will be successful. So the major issue in this project is that women led the movement, women led the initiative, women led the success of the project, right? The one that I said, 70,000 students attended twice a month in that district, right? That's a good story. Anyway. So next, that is very important. This is two chapters, 3 chapters we covered in our last part of the article of this paper, last part of the paper in 4th class. One is I sit in railways, I sit in urban governance, I sit in rural governance. In West Godavari, in railways, in Visakhapatnam. So now covering all over India, we'll come to RTI, Right to Information Act 2005. So all of you know that act because under RTI you are asking information. Suppose you appeared in exam, you feel that a student with a lesser number have got admitted into the institution, though you have higher number. So under RTI, now you are empowered to get the information of the entire process of admission. That cannot be kept as confidential or cannot be denied to you. So 3 propositions are emerging out of this. One thing, information is there. You have a right to access, to get that information. And under RTI Act, it's a government decision, act passed the parliament, signed by the president, it's a statutory institution, that you get the information. If you do not get the information, there is the redressal mechanism, redressal institutions. You ask the appellate authority, you the PIO, public information officer, then you go to the district, state information commission, then to the national information commission. So there is an entire mechanism of that is court-like or judicial-like institutions, right? So why this came up? Why there is a Right to Information Act? Is it correct? What is the historical background of the emergence of right to information? Why you need information? So it is said all over the world that we need informed citizens, knowledgeable citizens, conscious citizens for the success of democracy. So what is democracy? It is of the people, by the people, and for the people. For the people understood. Of the people understood, it is by the people. How can it be by if you don't have a knowledge? You don't know how you are voting, to whom you are voting, why you are voting to X, Y, Z. Somebody said you voted, and in 5 years you understood that this is a bogus leader or unproductive leader or unproductive party that is ruling the country or the state or whatever it may be. So that's why citizens must be informed about what is happening around them in the society, in politics, in economics, in society, every sector. So knowledge is power. And for the success of a democracy, knowledge, education is power. How can you gain knowledge unless you have the information? So information is related to knowledge, and knowledge is related to success of democracy. So obviously, every citizen has a right to information. But there is no clear-cut idea in the Constitution. That is not a fundamental right in the Constitution, nor a general right. It was not there before 2005. What was there? Question is whether we can get information earlier. That is secret in the file. That's a government file. Badababu knows that. Officer knows that. As a public, we don't have an access to that. We cannot see the file also, what is happening. That is happening for us. Whatever is decided by the big officers, bureaucrats at the top level, whatever is decided, that is for the people. That is in the name of people. Money is spent in the name of people. Money is spent in the name of the service of the people. Money is spent name in the development of the people. But people cannot know what is in the file. Suppose 50 lakhs is spent on your village road. What for village road is not for the collector, not for the block development officer, not for the panchayat officer. It is for your village people. You will enjoy the road. You will travel on the road. You will walk on the road, but you don't know how much rupees has been spent, who spent it, what are the materials in which it was constructed, what is the quality of material, who is the contractor, whether he did it properly or not. So these are the questions involved in a developmental process, and by denying that information, you are denying the fundamental right of the people. That's why in 1975, Supreme Court in a case in Uttar Pradesh held that a right to information is implicit in right to freedom of speech and expression under Article 9. Then there is a broader definition of this information as part of the right to life, that is Article 21. So these are two fundamental rights: right to information, freedom, and right to life, Article 19 and Article 21. So right to information is implicit, indirectly there, existent in these two articles. So that was the first journey towards right to information. Then in Rajasthan, there was a NGO, right? There is a NGO, this Mazdoor Kisan Sabha, led by Aruna Roy, who spearheaded that NGO or that organization spearheaded the movement for daily wages, correct daily wages. What is correct daily wages? That means there are forced entries in the muster roll. You understand muster roll? Names of daily wage earners who worked on a particular project, whether it's road, building, or whatever. They're not getting money. They're not getting the wages. And many ghost entries. Actually, you work there, but my name is there. I'm taking money. So contractor or political people or local mafia, they are taking away the money meant for the wages of the laborers. So naturally, they wanted to know how much money is coming for this project and how much money is particularly earmarked for the wages of the laborers. This is how the movement started. And the movement grew into a big one, Rajasthan and other parts of this country. And there was intervention by senior important advocates in India like Prashant Bhushan in Supreme Court. So under Supreme Court supervision, it was directed to the government, there must be some kind of right to information, or it was originally, it was not right to information. It was known as FOI, or Information Act. That is Information Act. Finally, it came in 2005, 2004, passed in 2005, signed by the President in October 11, 2005, known as RTI, or Right to Information Act. Right. So before that, Goa and other 7-8 states passed some kind of Right to Information Act. Right. So that's why, just 1 minute, and I have to shift to a place. Just 1 minute. Wait. Okay. So I have to change the place actually. Call Ashkara. So, Right to Information Act actually was created out of a movement by the public, particularly by the wage earners, initiated in Rajasthan. So that led to the emergence of this famous historic act that actually deepened democracy and expanded the scope of rights or fundamental rights. So this is a great success story in India, and this is also helpful. And by that, when we have why it is related to e-governance, because under e-governance we get information and we have access to the public documents, to the public domain documents under the which are earlier held to be confidential, which are earlier held to be secured, etc., etc. So we find that in RTI, what are the mechanism under RTI? You will find RTI has detailed mechanism. Why it become necessary? Let us know why it become necessary. So we need a transparent and accountable government. That is the most important justification of having a right to information. Because unless you have right to information, unless you have information, and unless you have constitutional provision for information or legal provision to have access to information, then we need a transparent government, accountable government. That is the basis of democracy. This is not possible without getting information. So information is very crucial for the success of democracy, that will accountable democracy and transparent democracy. Unless democracy becomes accountable or transparent, there is no meaning. That is without any essence. That will be void. Number one. Number two, that's a two-way approach. There must be dialogue between citizens and government. So unless you don't have any information, how can you dialogue with the government? How can this is called dialogic democracy? This term I have already used earlier in earlier classes. This is a very new term and widely used. What do you mean by dialogic democracy? That means as citizens, we must have a continuous dialogue with the government. On what? On what we should have a dialogue? We should have dialogue on our issues, on our concerns, on our demands, on our requests, on the deficiencies of the government. If the government is unable to render service, to deliver service, to prevent corruption, unable to prevent corruption, if it is not transparent, if it is hiding something, if it is excluding the citizens from that process, then that is becomes meaningless to have a dialogue. So if you know that there is some deficiency in the government, how can you know that? Unless you have information. That's why information empowers the citizens to have a talk with the government and to have a dialogue with the government. And this continuous dialogue of government with the citizens, of citizens with the government, can help us in deepening or widening democracy. Or democracy becomes meaningful. Then enable citizens to make a well-informed decision. Suppose there is a new project in my village or your village, whatever you are. We don't know what this project is about. Suppose there is an irrigation project that will displace people. That is displace people. So if it will displace people, we don't know. How can we resist? Just so if you displace people by a project and that is not in their knowledge, then after the project they will be displaced from their homes. They could not be compensated. They will face so many problems. So earlier, you will know, you must be knowing, displacement is a problem in Odisha. Suppose in Hirakud Dam, when Hirakud Dam was established, a lot of hope that it will irrigate, it will produce electricity and so on. But the local people in huge numbers were displaced by this project. They could not know because there was no RTI, no information, there was no knowledge of them, there was no education with them. So they are displaced like anything, and after 3 generations, they have not been paid their compensation. This is a major problem. You cannot call this decision as a democratic decision. So that's why we need informed decision. So how can you do the informed decision? How can you decide in an informed manner unless you have information? So right to information is necessary for this objective. Then tackle corruption. By getting information, you know that this is the project and this is the result. So easily you can find if there is not a minor gap, if there is a major gap, you can find this is a case of corruption and you can fight for that. Then better monitoring of government services. So if you do not know about the government services, how can you monitor that? You cannot monitor that. So you need to know what are the government services available to the people, what are the policies of government regarding any particular services. Suppose you know this is the cost of a housing project given to a poor man in your panchayat or in your village. So if you know that and you are not getting proper money and somebody is saying that I am taking commission out of that, uh, I am taking commission out of that for corruption purposes, then you can resist. This I am just giving from our day-to-day examples. Suppose you are going to a university or a institution for admission for getting certificates and you are not getting in proper time and somebody is asking money for the services and there is no official provision of money, then that is corruption. Only you know how can you fight corruption and how can you monitor the services rendered by the government. So for these crucial objectives, we need to have information on all this so that we can have a transparent government, we can have a responsive government, we can have a better service, we can have a effective service, and we can have an effective government, and we can have effective, informed, knowledgeable citizenry or citizenship that can protect the democratic system. So it is not that government will always protect. It is not that once elections held in 5 years or in some years, there is the security for democracy. No. People must participate in the democratic process, in the decision-making process, in the process of delivery of services continuously and effectively. It is not that one time you will participate in intervene, then you will sit down. This is one issue. Next is, I have already explained to history. So what are the organisms or organizations available under RTI? You know there are two kinds of commissions. So one is state commission, another is central commission. State Information Commission, Central Information Commission. If you go back to 1 or 2 months in Odisha newspaper, you will find that is nobody is the State Information Commissioner now. So how can an important institution like State Information Commission work without commissioner? So they have already appointed one retired judge of High Court has been appointed as the State Information Commissioner. But question is, if there are not members, if there are not the head of the institution, then that automatic becomes dysfunctional. So what is at the institution level? Every college, every institution, every office in India have a PIO, Public Information Officer. First appellate authority, second appellate authority. So when you seek an information, RTI, under RTI, you will pay what that postal money, that is of rupees 10. And if you are BPL, then that is free. Then you have a questionnaire, what do you want exactly? So notes, drafting, decisions are accessible. And there is a long list in the RTI that these informations cannot be shared. What are the informations which cannot be shared? Number one is defense secrets. Anything related to our defense system or country's sovereignty and integrity, number one. Then these cabinet notings, whatever decided in the cabinet meetings or central cabinet. Then you have this information which may incite violence against others. Any information related to the security of a particular person or a group or individual or groups of individuals. So these are some important items enlisted under RTA which cannot be shared by the authority. Apart from that, they can be shared easily. You want a note of the file, that also can be shared. But there have been 2-3 attempts to dilute, to weaken RTI by saying that these processes cannot be shared. So the vested interest who is affected by this RTA, they are trying to again come back by weakening the RTA system. That's why this appellate authority is there. If you are dissatisfied with the appellate authority or you did not get information under that, then you can go to state commission. And if you are not satisfied with the state commission, they cannot go to the central commission. So from top to bottom or bottom to top, there is a total mechanism and there is a time limit. In 1 month, you will get the information. So these are the issues that is addressed in RTA Act. Then there are clear manipulations by offices. Suppose I am just giving an example which is now hotly discussed in social media and other medias. And the Prime Minister Care Fund for Corona is a fund created under the aegis of Prime Minister's office. And many people or institutions or companies have contributed to the central government, to the Prime Minister's corpus fund to fight Corona in India. When people asked what are the amount given by various institutions, companies, or individuals under RTI, first it was denied that RTI is not a public authority. So we got a term public authority. What is public authority? It is not a private authority. I cannot ask your family affair under RTI. Public authority means government authority. So many were surprised. There was a debate. Some said it's not the public authority created under the Act of Parliament or by the government decision, government institution. Somebody said Prime Minister is itself a public authority. He is the head of the country. He is the head of the government. And you cannot say the money collected in the name of Prime Minister, that is Prime Minister's corpus fund, to contain Corona, obviously becomes official, obviously become public. You cannot deny information under RTA Act. So later on, recently, they have also shared some information regarding the money contributed to this purpose. So question is, who will decide whether it is admissible under RTI or it is not admissible under RTI? So there has been a controversy from bottom level to top level regarding the definition of what information can be shared or not. Suppose somebody asks in a government office and they deny that this is a confidential decision. Exam matter, this is a confidential decision. And so many issues are avoided. So point is, why this is happening? Because the officers, bureaucrats, or anything in charge of that process normally do not want to share information to the public. This is number one. The negative aspect of RTI is that the RTI used to settle score with the opponents. Suppose I am your opponent. You want information on RTA regarding my personal movement, when I left university or college, where I was joining, where did I go, what I do, etc., etc. So sometimes personal agendas are scored by using RTI. I will give you one case. In Keonjhar, in a school, in Keonjhar district, there is a school and one lady teacher was there, one gents teacher. There was a rivalry between them two. And one gents teacher asked information under RTI regarding the personal information of the employee. And it was denied. They went to state commission. So there is a judgment of state commission that personal information cannot be shared to the public or to anybody personally, third party. So personal information for settling score, this has been denied. So my point is, this RTI is being enriched by the decisions of the semi-courts like State Commission and Central Commission, which are binding on other cases, if similar cases will arise in future. If similar cases will arise in future, then the decisions of these two bodies, that is State Information Commission and Central Information Commission, will be referred as the decisions of the High Court and Supreme Court are referred in various cases in the court proceedings or in future cases. So, there is continuous experiments of RTI. We find RTI activists are killed, murdered in many parts of the country. If somebody is asking RTI information under RTI against a contractor or any vested interest and they are reacting, so they are being killed, they are being tortured, they are being physically attacked. So this shows that RTI or information under RTI is a threat to the vested interest, to the corrupt interest, to the power that would be. So we need more powerful RTA. We need more powerful RTA activists. Nobody or everybody cannot ask information on RTA. It becomes somehow technical. So there are RTA activists who seek information on public issues, on public interest, and on public money, on public authority, which affects the entire public or a major group of the public. And
Sir,
that should be there. Yes, Asutosh, what you are saying?
sir, RTA is also misused by people. Do you not agree with
Yeah,
me?
that is what I am saying. RTA is misused to settle score with the opponent. Those who are
Because
opposing, that is,
people are also asking questions that which also could not be answerable.
yes, that is there. But point is, these are cases which is less than 5%, 10%. I don't know what is the data. But by that, RTA itself does not become irrelevant. RTA does not lose its relevance. Suppose you have a dowry act. In anti-dowry act, you cannot torture a lady in the name of dowry. But sometimes the dowry act also misused. The lady who tries to score with her in-laws may invoke the word dowry. Likewise, the Atrocities Act on atrocity on SCs and STs is also sometimes misused. But that does not mean these acts are bad, but the intention of the acts are bad, or they are not being used properly. Largely, they are used properly in a proper manner. They are mechanisms to protect the interest of the weaker sections, whether it is women, whether it is SC or ST. And likewise, RTA is also to protect the democracy and information for the public, to have a honest government, to have a accountable government, to have a transparent government. So violation or exceptions, every rule has an exception. So exception under RTI or any other good rule does not make the good rules bad. So we have to check that. We have to prevent that. We have to find who is misusing this RTI. So you are asking about the misuse of RTI.
Sir,
So
because I
that's
am
why.
telling about this thing because now just before 3 to 4 days I have faced this problem in my office that one person asking about our office confidential data which cannot be answerable to him.
No, that is a point. I don't know what is your office confidential
But
data, but sometimes
actually problem is
confidentiality.
that people is asking the
If
question which is not included in their matter, but they are wanting to know all the data in the government sectors which cannot be shared with them. That is the misuse of RTA.
then if it cannot be said and that is in the law under RTA, then you will deny him. Then he will go to the State Information Commission. Then State Information Commission will give a judgment that this information, you don't need this information. What is the public interest involved? So main thing under Right to Information Act is whether there is a public interest involved. If there is no public interest, then information there is no need of sharing that information. That can be denied. There is law, so there is no problem. Sometimes one has a personal score, personal liability, or personal grudge, or personal whatever it may be, do not find any resort, so they resort to the misuse of RTI. That is there, right? So we find we have experiences all over India. RTI has helped a lot in preventing corruption, in taking a wrong decision, in taking a biased decision, in taking a decision which is not transparent and which is not accountable. So obviously, RTI is an anathema to the corrupt elements. There is no doubt about that. So question is how misuse of RTI can be prevented. That is most important. So we need public consciousness. We need to make public aware. And those who are misusing RTI, there must be some warning or provision of punishment or something like that, so that they cannot, they will be prevented from misuse. There can be a development of mechanism for that by discussing or with having a stakeholders approach. We can discuss with stakeholders or develop a mechanism how this can be prevented. But this is not a serious issue to dilute, to weaken, and to make RTI dysfunctional, right? So this is all about RTI. Then in the final chapter, what I have already explained, that in the final chapter, what are the challenges for e-governance, how e-governance can be successful. So first thing, we need infrastructure. We cannot go back, right? I'll be finishing. We cannot go back what we have traveled in this journey of ICT or e-governance. There are three important dimensions as a whole to e-governance. E-governance has positive aspects, very positive aspects, in bringing mainly transparency, accountability, and information to the public, or access of information to the public. That helps democracy to go deeper. To have a meaningful democracy, working democracy, or a successful democracy, ICT helps. But question is, there must be public authority to control this ICT. I am not very personally interested in this PPT mode, because PPT mode always raises the cost of services used in ICT under a PPP mode. There must be, so my point of stress and the last chapter is that there must be more public investment on the use of ICT in the governance sector, number one. So unless you have money, you cannot buy a computer, you cannot sustain computerization, and you cannot hire or employ human resource required for computer operation or use of ICT in governance, number one. Number two, you need to make public conscious, public aware about the use of ICT as well as the benefits of ICT. Number three, the entire bureaucratic approach has to be changed. So for ICT is concerned, but now the entire bureaucracy has become the part of ICT-led governance, e-governance, almost everywhere in India, and we need to accelerate that process. MG and energy is there. Various benefits to the people, particularly to the marginalized and excluded sections. That is most important. So that we need. Then next is you need upgradation of the skills. Suppose today we have software, tomorrow we have a software, and we need softwares as per our needs. Needs are changing, requirements are changing. So that's why always we need upgradation. There must be well planning, well-defined planning and design for this aspect. So these are the requirements that we need to have if we want to have a successful e-governance model. We discussed some e-governance models like that of Visakhapatnam Railway, and we have these SAMs in Odisha, and also Janaseva Kendras in different rural areas. We must learn from them what are the difficulties, what are the deficiencies, and what are the challenges. So first job, if you have to a successful e-governance program, whether at the state level or district level or panchayat level or municipal level or at the national level. So levels are different, their requirements are different, their needs are different, problems are different, challenges are different. We cannot have a uniform policy to address the issues at different levels. So I may say we need more and more e-panchayats. And we need to make people aware and bring the young people, particularly girls or boys, to this process of e-governance at the panchayat level. So panchayats are huge institutions, democratic institutions, and people are getting benefits, the common people, whether they are in need of health, whether they are in need of education. You just imagine how this West Godavari district project is successful in telemedicine, tele-agriculture, and e-education. So dropout is a problem in Odisha in large parts of interior areas, remote areas. And if they can be connected from online courses, we found that many people do not have WhatsApp. They are not being able to connect it to WhatsApp. What are the challenges? Some people don't have phones. Some people don't have net connectivity. Some people don't have phones but don't have 4G phones. So how these can be addressed? I'm not saying the general physical mode of teaching will be replaced. That is wrong. That is there, but we must have a balanced mixture or blending of technology and normal traditional mode of education. I'm talking of education sector. So we cannot establish hospitals all over Odisha. We don't have fund right now. You cannot provide doctors, but doctors are not produced every day. You cannot provide doctors to all the hospitals overnight. You cannot do it one day or one night. So if this ICT can be employed in telemedicine, the example is telemedicine, then many of the common problems will be solved. If you can sensitize people on basic hygienes, then many of the diseases can be prevented. You need to, you will be astonished to know many people, even including us educated people, don't know the protocol of hand washing. So you found in Corona, there are in televisions and in WhatsApp, in social media, Facebook, you will find how hands are washed and what is the correct way of hand washing. Doctors are prescribing for us to prevent Corona infection, to kill coronavirus. So you go have a soap and just wash for 2, 3, 5, 10 seconds, then virus will be there. So from use of ICT, if you can sensitize the people, then it is a great help. Hygiene is an important, sanitation is a very important aspect. So in the final chapter, the challenges have been discussed and how this could be addressed, that has been discussed. So I think you may have, we can have discussion for 5-10 minutes, then we'll finish because it is 25th. It is already with 36:40. So, how will prepare? What are the possible questions? And we have class tomorrow also. That is 18.
Yes, sir.
18 means disaster
Disaster
management.
management.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now there is disaster. So how disaster can be managed? Now we have Corona disaster. So how disaster
Ye-
can be managed? And Odisha is appreciated all over the world that in disaster management, what are the role products of disaster management? I have seen 99 cyclone, I have seen funny, and you have seen, I have seen how disastrous was 99 disaster. 99 super cyclone was a cyclone, but the management of that disaster was disastrous. That was horrible because you did not have manpower, you did not have machine, and importantly, you did not have any coordination among government agencies how to tackle this problem. So thousands of people died, and post cyclone, super cyclone reconstruction arrangement was horrible. Right, there was thorough corruption, thorough mismanagement, thorough gap among people or beneficiaries or affected people and government agencies. And many common people rendered human service, splendid jobs during that period. Also, some of the officials, some of the videos, some of the employees, they did splendid job. So now you have information through internet, through mobile that cyclone is coming and cyclone have this speed. So you buy in a mad manner 40 kgs of potatoes and 20 kgs of onions, increasing, leading to the increasing of prices of basic commodities. So this is what we are experiencing. We'll discussing tomorrow. So the entire Xmas holiday is going to be in this manner. So we
Yes, sir.
can recap. These are the chapters, 15 chapters that we discussed. So we did have an idea about what e-governance is. So simply put, it means use of information and communication technology in the processes of governance. So governance means functions of the government, decisions of the government, implementation of the decisions of the government, or in a very simplified manner, it is the delivery of public services or delivery of government services to the public. So how this delivery of services to the public can be streamlined, can be made in an honest manner, in a transparent manner, in an accountable manner, in an effective manner. This process can be accelerated by the use of information and communication technology, that is, use of computer, use of net, etc. So we found so many examples, so many models, so many experiences, so many successes, so many challenges, so many failures in India, in different parts of India. And these are assets actually. These are knowledgeable assets for us to move ahead. So the failures of the past will encourage us, will teach us how to avoid these mistakes, how to avoid these deficiencies and go ahead. So India, in comparison to other developed countries, is much ahead so far e-governance is concerned, and it has success stories throughout India in different states, in different urban centers, in different rural centers, and we find out various challenges, and we have also knowledge to recoup that. So one great success story, which is astonishing, is the success of railways. Railways deals with millions of people, and reservation system, cancellation system, refund, movement of trains, information on the movement of trains, information of the goods and uh, commodities from one corner of the country to another country is running smoothly because of this ICT, effectively because of this ICT. So that is a success story. And we found in Andhra, in Karnataka, in Goa, in Pondicherry, in Maharashtra, in Odisha, everywhere there are success stories of e-governance. And these are the challenges. We need to change our mindset, and it is automatically will change because there's a wide application of this mobile technology or 4G technology in our day-to-day life. So you now cannot think of going and standing in a queue to get a small benefit. So with the click of a mouse or the click of a touch phone, touch screen phone, you find your services. And if you do not find, you get irritated, you get frustrated, you scold the government, you scold the authorities, you charge the authorities. This is the stage we have arrived, and we will go further and further. Okay. So any doubts or any comments? The same students will remain tomorrow for disaster management. Na କଣ?
Yes, sir.
ଆଚ୍ଛା। ତମର ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଟା କଣ ହେଲା ଯେ ଏତେ କମ ପିଲା କାହିଁ ରହିଲ 7-8 ଜଣ 10 ଜଣ 12 ଜଣ କାହିଁ ରହିଲ?
ସାର୍
ଜ୍ଞାନ
କେତେ
ସାର
ଜଣ ନେଇନାହାନ୍ତି?
ଜାଣିନାହାନ୍ତି?
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍ ନେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ମାନେ MPA
Many of students have not taken the subject.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଜ୍ଞାନ ସାରଙ୍କ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଏତିକି ଥିଲେ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ନା ସାର୍ ସାରଙ୍କ କ୍ଲାସରେ ବହୁତ ପିଲା ଥିଲେ କାରଣ ନୂଆ ନୂଆ ତ ଥିଲା ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦେଇଥିଲେ ପୁରୁଣା
ଓ
ହେଇଗଲେଣି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ତାପରେ ସାର୍ ଏଇ
ସରି
schedule ଟା ବି ଅଧା ପିଲା ଜାଣିପାରିଲେନି ଯେ ଜ୍ଞାନ ସାରଙ୍କ କ୍ଲାସ ପରେ ଏଇଟା ହେବାର ଅଛି ବୋଲି।
ଓହୋ
କାହିଁ ତମ
ଆଚ୍ଛା।
ଟାଇମ ସେଡ୍ୟୁଲ ଦେଇନଥିଲେ କି?
ନାଇଁ ଟାଇମ
ଦେଇ
ଟେବୁଲ ଦେଇଥିଲେ ତମର ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଲେଖୁଛ ପରା ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ତ ଗୁଡାଏ ପିଲା ଅଛନ୍ତି ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ତ ଲେଖୁଛ
ହଁ
ତମ
ସାର୍ କେହି
ଗ୍ରୁପରେ
କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ଆଉ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ସେ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ଛୁଟିଟା ଅଛି ତ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆଉ ତ tomorrow we have disaster management କେତେ ତାରିଖ tomorrow continuously ଅଛି ତ?
ହଁ yes sir, yes
ଆଜ୍ଞା
sir,
continuously
30
କାଲି ହେଲା
କାଲି
30 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ
26
ସାର୍ 26 ତାରିଖ
26 27 28 29 30 को
30 ହଁ ପାଞ୍ଚଟା କ୍ଲାସ ସାର୍।
ଓହୋ 5ଟା
yes sir,
ଆଚ୍ଛା disaster management 5ଟା
yes sir,
ଆଉ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ 17 ର 4ଟା ନାଇଁ
yes sir, yes sir।
ସାର୍
ଓକେ ସୋ
ସାର୍
ଇଏ
ତାକୁ
ସାର୍
ନ କରି ସେ 5ଟା କରିଦେବେ ପ୍ଲିଜ।
କଣ
ସାର୍ 4ଟା ଅଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପକ୍ଷରୁ ଟିକେ ଦେଲେ ଭଲ ହେବ ଆଉ ଡାଉଟ କ୍ଲାସ
ନାଇଁ
ଦେବେ ଆଉ।
ସାର୍
4ଟା ଅଛି ନା 5ଟା ଅଛି ଏଥିରୁ ଚୂଳ କରିବା
ସାର୍
ନା
ପାଞ୍ଚଟା ଅଛି ସାର୍।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଠିକ ଅଛି 5ଟା ଆମେ କରିଦବା ଆଚ୍ଛା ପଲିଟିକାଲ ସାଇନ୍ସ ପିଲା କରୁଛନ୍ତି କ୍ଲାସ ମତେ
Sir,
ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି
political
ଦେଖିବା
science, sir, I have no political democracy, sir, Indian democracy. I have no not that subject.
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆମର ଅଛି
I,
ସେ ଜଣେ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ନାଇଁ ତମର ପଲିଟିକାଲ ତ
sir, I have methodology.
no, methodology is totally different, but you have political science. Those who have political science, whether they are attending classes or not. ଆମ ପିଲା ପଚାରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି। Okay, we can leave now. It is 45. So
Sir,
before
Okay,
can
sir.
10
you answer some
huh?
important questions?
So important questions is first, what is the e-governance history in India? How e-governance developed? What are the models of e-governance? You can take these 4-5 models like railway, like e-seva project, Saukaryam,
Sir,
and
there is a question in assignment that discuss concept of e-governance and its models.
its models. You give these 2-3 models, right? And then
Yes, sir.
significance of e-governance. That means how e-governance helps democracy. Then you may have question right to information. What are the challenges right to information? How it will help e-governance. So all the chapters that we discussed. So you study in general and you will get questions, important questions from those chapters, right? So I think assignment will not be a problem for this, right? Then what are the tools of e-governance? That is computer, LAN, WAN, जो technical concepts जोटा अच्छी, सेटा plus these models. Model does not mean this model. That is model does not mean this e-seva railway model. That is implementation model. There are models. I have already told you this critical flow model, local model, in which I have talked about ham radio, this interactive service model, e-advocacy model, broadcasting model. So these are different models that I have explained, right?
Yes, sir.
So this what is the difference between governance and e-governance? What are the stages of e-governance in India? You may refer specifically to Odisha. So these are the possible questions that you may get in assignments, right? Then women and information communication technology, education and ICT, agriculture and ICT. So ICT, in what manner will be successful in these specified sectors? That you have to answer if there will be questions in your assignment, right? Then any other question?
No, sir.
So physical mode you can have this 2 hours, but in online mode, so normally what is happening? This battery is draining out after this 43. So
Thank you, sir.
battery. So your battery is strong. What?
No, sir. We have power bank.
Oh, you have power bank. You don't have power bank. Acha. So you have to put power bank continuously. Anyway, so I hope
Yes, sir.
you enjoyed these 4 classes.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
You
Yes, sir.
understood the basic concepts.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. So I will leave. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Sir
you,
is
sir.
there? No, no. Regional Coordination Center. Sir is there. Sitaram sir? No. Hello, sir.
No,
Is Sitaram sir there? No.
no, sir. Sir.
Do I have to inform that I am leaving this class 10 minutes before?
Sir, okay, sir.
Don't have
It's
to.
okay.
It's fine.
Okay,
Sir,
okay,
course is
okay.
completed, so we
Ah,
can quit, sir.
oh, this is 10 minutes before. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.